From a contestant suddenly collapsing in the middle of a challenge, to a chef slicing off part of her finger during a team challenge.
Takes a second.
Does it?
Yeah.
Here are the most terrifying moments from MasterChef history, starting with Nathan Barnhouse from Season 7 of MasterChef USA, whose body suddenly gave out during a brutal high-pressure tag team elimination challenge, where teammates took turns to make dishes that proved they deserved to stay in the competition. With one person cooking and another person giving instructions, things got pretty heated amongst the teammates.
Minute to your first switch.
Damn it, Katie. You are killing me with these eggs. Come on, Dan. I need you to...
Nathan was paired with Sean O'Neill, and they had to recreate a complex dish under tight time constraints. But as the clock kept ticking, Nathan was clearly starting to lose control of the situation.
Fast and safe, Nathan. Fast and safe.
Is this enough?
You're good. Just get him in the fryer and pull out not one by one. Nathan.
I know. Otherwise, you're on
Nathan,
your own.
let's go, brother. I need your help right now. You gotta go faster, brother. You gotta go faster. Don't get frazzled.
And when it was his turn to give the instructions, things got even worse. Nathan could barely get words out, stumbling over instructions while the rest of the kitchen kept shouting around him.
Sean,
I'm gonna get these patties going. I'm gonna set those right there. I already seasoned them. Just salt and pepper. We're gonna be good.
okay.
Wow. Yes, brother. I need you to breathe.
Don't focus on me. Focus on the freaking
I
eggs.
know. Well, then relax.
No.
Nathan,
Sit down.
Gordon tried to help by calming him down and offering him a bottle of water.
Get a drink. Take a drink. Take a drink. Take a drink. Get yourself together. Take a big deep breath and think how you're going to help Sean and yourself through this. Okay?
And just like that, after a few seconds, Nathan seemed all right and jumped right back in, ready to help his team win.
You feeling better?
Yes, Chef.
Okay, good.
All right, Sean.
Let's go.
When we switch, I'm gonna slice the cabbage.
But as Sean urged them to check what was missing, the loud kitchen noise and ticking clock got Nathan overwhelmed and hyperventilating.
figuring out what else we're short on, brother. What else do we need? I can't lose you right now, brother. I need you.
Nathan, vocal, come on.
Nathan, talk to me. They're scratched, Chef. We didn't have enough eggs. I screwed them up.
You're not doing any Scotch eggs.
Oh, man.
Nathan, there's no Scotch eggs.
Wow.
Hey, chill. It's okay.
Oh, man. Nathan's falling apart.
Nathan, you gotta talk to him, bud.
Come on. Are you guys ready to go home?
Nathan.
And suddenly, this happened.
Oh! Oh my God, Nathan's just collapsed.
Fortunately, he didn't lose consciousness and came back to himself after a while. Then, Gordon Ramsay noticed the distress and helped him up while motivating him to continue.
Sit down, stand up. Give me a chair,
I'm good.
All right, keep cooking.
Hey, look at me. Hey.
Oh, I'm not going.
No, we're gonna stay calm. We're gonna stay calm. It's not worth it. Okay? It's not over. Big deep breath, come on.
Okay.
Fill up those lungs. There you go. Okay? Come on, you can do this. There you go.
Although Nathan managed to get back on his feet, the damage had already been done. And by the end of the challenge, he was sent home. While Nathan's collapse ended his time in the competition, Thea van der Varden from Season 7 of MasterChef Canada faced a terrifying moment of her own, but things turned out very differently for her. After finishing as runner-up in Season 4, Thea returned to Season 7 with one goal in mind: to win. However, she got into trouble during the penultimate challenge for the top 5 chefs of the season. While creating a 5-course Italian-inspired tasting menu, as the challenge went on, Thea began to visibly struggle.
This one still feels a little thick.
Taya right now is cutting it really close. She may be cooking herself out of this competition.
Stay calm. I'm trying to stay strong. I'm not feeling very good. I'm trying to take breaths, but I'm breathing really heavily.
Despite the struggles, Thea kept pushing to finish what she had started. But even as she pushed to finish the dishes, Thea suddenly called for a medic, knowing her body couldn't take much more.
Medic, I realize I'm gonna pass out.
And only moments after calling for help, Thea suddenly collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath.
Fall to the ground.
Oh no.
I can't.
What is going on? Oh my God. That's all that's happened.
Fortunately for Thea, she was able to continue the competition and get through to the next round in one piece. But while collapsing from exhaustion is terrifying enough, the injuries some contestants have suffered in the MasterChef kitchen take things to a much darker level. The first of those contestants was Laura Sherrod from Season 12 of MasterChef Australia, who was a runner-up in Series 6 in 2014. Years later, she returned for a special season called Back to Win, bringing back former contestants for another shot at the title. Throughout the season, Laura worked impressively hard, that she even made it all the way to the finale, facing off with her best friend, Emilia Jackson.
Absolutely. One last time. Who would have thought two gals from season 6, who are such good friends, have such different styles of cooking?
And that's when things suddenly went wrong. The challenge for the finale was a tough one. They had 4 hours to create an entree, main course, and dessert. At first, everything was going well for Laura, but while working on her pork dish and trying to meet the time, she grabbed a scorching hot pan with her bare hand and instantly recoiled in pain.
Grabbed the handle of that hot caramel, been sitting over that rendered pork fat.
The burn was so bad, scorching her hand and sending a shock of pain through her hand. But then she didn't allow the burn to slow her down, as she was still focused on cooking the pork.
I just need to take this pork out. I am in so much pain right now, but I need to get that pork off the pan.
Although she tried working through the pain from the hot pan, the medical team attended to her immediately, so the situation didn't escalate any further.
Excruciating burn I've ever had. Oh my God, that hurts so much. The pain is getting worse and worse.
However, after her palm was dressed, she quickly went straight back to the competition as if nothing happened. Despite the pain and her inability to make use of one of her hands, Laura kept going like a champ.
How bad is it?
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Eventually, she finished her dish, but despite the judges loving her food,
The flavour combination of Jerusalem artichoke and kumquat, who knew? That's a great one.
Now we know.
Laura, your bonito entree was incredible.
Emilia came out as the winner of the competition. Laura Sherrod's burn was really painful, but it's nothing compared to slicing off your index finger. And this terrifying injury happened to Jessie Lysiak during season 4 of the US show in 2013. Earlier in the season, Jessie had impressed the judges by winning an elimination test with her meat agnolotti.
Good health.
Cream potato. Yeah, I messed up.
Things turned scary in episode 10 during a team challenge on the set of the TV show Glee. The contestants were split into 2 groups, the beauties on the red team, including Jessie, and the beasts on the blue team. They had to cook lunch for the Glee cast and crew, making dishes like salads, sandwiches, and the rest of them. As the red team captain, and to get things done quickly, Jessie was in charge of the scalloped potatoes and was going as fast as she could to slice them for her team.
So you're gonna have to do eggplant too, okay? Damn it, medic!
And I just put my hand right through the man.
While she called on the medical team to attend to her, it felt like it wasn't so serious until Ramsey asked her.
Medic, please. Is that bad?
Yeah, probably.
Show me.
And that's when they realized she had sliced off a chunk of her index finger. At that moment, she was already feeling dizzy, but Ramsey quickly applied some powder to try to stop the bleeding.
Probably.
Show me. Ay, ay, ay. Is that going to need a stitch? Yeah.
But then that powder didn't stop it from bleeding. If anything, it only got worse. With that, she had to struggle to endure the pain, while Ramsey and the medical team worked on stopping the blood from pouring out.
It's just puddling of blood coming out everywhere.
Medic is still bleeding like mad here. Okay.
And that's when it became clear that Jessie not only lost a lot of blood and flesh, but also a chunk of her fingernail. However, Jessie didn't give up on her teammates.
We got the chicken already marinated, and we need to get that salmon going.
And while the red team is still struggling with their prep, the blue team, led by Captain Chrissy, is already cooking a number of their lunch items.
From the sidelines, she watched closely and advised them on the necessary actions to take. With about 15 minutes left, she came back to help finish up what they'd started. Just like Jessie's experience, Kelsey Murphy, from season 11 of MasterChef USA, would face a similar injury, but in a more terrifying way. Kelsey, a mama too, is pregnant with her 3rd child, and had been doing well throughout the competition, but during a team challenge in episode 14, her team was struggling and they needed Kelsey to step up. While trying her best to make sure her team comes out on top, disaster suddenly struck.
Eventually taste both of them, see what one we like better.
Is there any sauce? Is there any vinaigrette?
We haven't really figured it out yet.
Right, so this red team is so fragmented. You're the captain. What are we doing?
This left her team captain, Autumn, who couldn't handle the sight of blood, in a state of panic.
Grip.
Not good with blood.
Stop staring at it then.
I'm not good with cuts. And then I just started losing it.
To get back on track, one of her teammates had to calm the captain down until Ramsey intervened.
Here, let's think. Okay, let's focus. Okay, execution. Okay.
You're the captain.
Yes.
Stay
Yes,
in
sir.
control.
Yes.
Okay? I need you to show that captaincy leadership now.
Yes.
And with the help of Gordon Ramsay, she was able to get herself back. Same as Kelsey, who was immediately attended to by the medical team that just wrapped her thumb with adhesive tape. But while already dealing with the exhaustion of pregnancy, Kelsey had just sliced off the tip of her thumb, a level of pain far worse than anyone expected in the middle of a cooking challenge. And because she was pregnant, she couldn't even take painkillers to dull the pain. Fortunately for her team members, she was able to continue the challenge without any complications.
Use it somehow. Kelsey, what do you need? Tell me. I don't know.
How's the butternut?
Kelsey was so good and determined throughout the rest of the season, but pushing through the injury came with a serious consequence, as her hand got infected and required a hand surgery once the season concluded. While Kelsey pushed through her injury without immediate treatment, the next contestant took the necessary actions but was left with a permanent scar. Brendan Pang impressed the judges early in MasterChef Australia Season 10 with his flavorful Asian-inspired dishes and quickly established himself as a strong contender. But as the competition heated up, the contestants faced a bigger team challenge, which was serving brunch at a cafe by the Yarra River. With this challenge came a heavy responsibility on every member of the team. Brendan was on the red team, working hard to prepare food for hungry customers, while every other contestant was also trying their best to get things done on time. Not long into the challenge, disaster struck. While carrying a bottle of olive oil up the stairs, Brendan accidentally smashed the bottle, and a shard of glass sliced deep into his hand.
I grabbed the olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I just grabbed some, run up the stairs. Quick. I smashed the olive oil bottle and cut my hand. Quick. It's really bad.
The broken glass was deep into his right hand, and blood instantly poured out, splattering onto the floor. At that moment, he screamed for help and a nurse to attend to him. His teammates looked shocked as a nurse rushed over to check the wound, but while she tried to apply first aid treatment to it, Brendan opened up about his fears of leaving the challenge so soon.
This could not only just be the end for this challenge, but this could be the end of my MasterChef journey.
Seeing his fears, Judge George Callambaris tried to calm him, reminding him that his health came first.
If you've got to go to hospital, you've got to go to hospital because your well-being is more important
course,
to us
yeah.
than you finishing a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead of making him feel at peace, he got really emotional.
I'm upset. I'm really frustrated.
He had to be rushed to the hospital, where the doctors had to give him 13 stitches to close the deep gash. Luckily, it didn't cut any tendons or muscles, but was described as one of the worst injuries in the show's history. Brendan was able to return to the show that night, but it took about a month for his hand to fully heal, leaving a scar as a reminder. Although Brendan was able to return to the show, he called the incident a freak accident and the worst injury he'd ever sustained. These injuries were terrifying to behold, but for the next contestant, she had health problems that not only freaked people out, but also shortened her stay on MasterChef's show. As a single mom of 2 kids, Cecilia Vuong had always dreamt of sharing her Vietnamese-inspired dishes with the world. But before she got that chance, Cecilia faced a life-threatening stroke caused by a terrifying health crisis. During a snowboarding trip to Mount Hotham in 2013, she suddenly experienced intense head pain that led to blurred vision and blackouts.
A brain injury about 3 months ago now. I wanted to snowboard and watch my son go down the hill, but I fell head first.
Doctors later discovered she had suffered a brain hemorrhage, and that was why they performed an emergency brain surgery on her. The recovery was long and difficult, but Cecilia slowly fought her way back to health.
It has compensated for the lack of ability to use the left, and I've been just dreaming about more creative things, such as food.
By 2014, Cecilia felt ready for a new challenge, and that was when she auditioned for MasterChef Australia Season 6 and wowed the judges with her flavors.
I mean, they are exceptional. They are unbelievable. They are delicious. Absolutely incredible. I actually might even take a photo.
She earned a spot in the top 24, excited to cook under pressure. But as the competition began, Cecilia started feeling the lingering effects of the condition that had once led her to brain surgery. This time, it was serious since she started experiencing blurred vision and blackouts and was suffering from memory loss. With these symptoms continuing and after close medical checkups, the show's doctor strictly advised that it wasn't safe for her to continue in the competition. On May 7th, Judge Gary Mehigan told the group about what Cecilia was going through, saying,
"As you know, Cecilia is recovering from a brain injury. We've received expert medical advice instructing us that this is not in her best interest to continue on in the competition, so she's not."
The news was heartbreaking, but putting her health first, Cecilia quietly stepped away from the
Me
kitchen.
and Nathan, that apron was like a green flag.
But that wasn't the end of her story. Instead of giving up, Cecilia stayed positive and focused on her recovery. She kept in touch with the show and slowly worked her way back to full health. 2 years later, in 2016, Cecilia made an inspiring comeback on Season 8 MasterChef Australia. And this time, she lasted much longer. Cecilia fought her way through the competition and eventually finished in 17th place after being eliminated in a ham challenge. However, unlike Cecilia, who was able to return to the show after fully recovering, the next contestant was involved in a very terrifying accident that forced her to completely leave the competition much earlier than expected. Christina Maya arrived in MasterChef The Professional Season 16 as a confident chef with a passion for bold flavors. From the moment she stepped into the kitchen, she showed the judges that she was serious about proving her skills.
Soft banana, soft sauce.
Thank you.
I've got the banana ice cream that hasn't been sweetened very much that I like. I've got a dark, almost bitter caramel with a hint of chocolate in it.
For the second challenge of her heat, Christina decided to prepare several dishes, including a delicate bisque, a smooth seafood soup that required careful blending to achieve the perfect texture.
The bisque with turmeric, ginger, coriander, and chili. Has to be nice and smooth and full of flavour. And we've also got a coconut rice just to go with it. I have to say, I do like the sound of this.
Not knowing it would lead to a big disaster, Christina poured the hot soup into a blender to smooth it out. She struggled for a moment to loosen the lid, and suddenly it burst open with a loud pop, sending the smoking hot orange soup splashing onto her face, her hands, and the kitchen floor.
Sorry.
You all right? Is that red hot?
Yeah.
Can we get some get it under cold water, please?
I'm so sorry.
You're okay. You're okay over there.
Put it on your chin. You sort of need it as much cold as possible on it.
Judge Greg Wallace quickly rushed over to know how she was doing.
Is that red hot?
Yeah.
Can we get some get it under cold water, please?
I'm so sorry.
While medics helped her wash off the burning liquid that stuck to her skin. Seeing that Christina was deeply hurt from the hot soup explosion, Greg gently suggested that she step out of the competition to focus on her safety.
I don't think you should carry on. You're hurt, so we're going to stop.
It was clear that Christina was disappointed, but that doesn't change the fact that this was not a minor accident, because burns from boiling liquid can be very serious. And to make sure she was well cared for, Christina was rushed to the hospital for thorough medical care, making her leave the competition earlier than she had expected. Later reports confirmed that she had suffered severe burns to her chin and face, which would take significant time to heal. Even though her journey in the competition ended too soon, the blender explosion became one of the most unexpected and terrifying accidents ever seen in MasterChef history.